In this video, I'm going to break down the soft tissue of the foot and ankle with a primary focus here. We're going to focus on the ligaments and the muscles. And then later on in the module, I'll have another video that talks about what those specific structures are resisting and how it relates to injury in the foot and ankle. So this is just to give you an anatomy review. And the way I divided it in the module, which I think will be helpful to have it pulled up while you're listening to me so that I can explain it, is that I like to divide them in the areas of where injury usually occurs. So we have lateral ankle ligaments, we have high ankle ligaments, and we have medial ankle sprain ligaments. So let's start with medial ankle sprain. When you say I have an ankle sprain, we're referring to lateral ankle sprain ligaments. The medial ankle sprain ligaments are usually not injured, and so that's why we don't really talk about them that much. So there are ligaments on the medial side of the ankle. So we're looking at the foot, the inside is the medial side. So that is going to be the end of the tibia. Quick note here, the end of the fibula and the end of the tibia on the outsides here are called our medial on the tibia and our lateral on the fibula, malleolus. These are bony landmarks, and this is where ligaments attach, and that's why we refer to them. So if you look down at your ankle right now, and we often refer to these as our ankle bones, the two bones sticking out, those are actually our lateral malleolus, which is the end of our fibula, and our medial malleolus is the end of our tibia. So back to this, then we have a big fat ligament that's made up of multiple ligaments, but we just refer to it as the deltoid ligament. It's really thick, provides a lot of stability, and the bony shape of the joint, it provides stability, so we don't hear about them a lot. On the outside, when we say we have an ankle sprain, we're referring to a lateral ankle sprain. There are three ligaments, and they're stabilizing the ankle and the talus. So the talus is that core bone in the middle here that sits between the tibia and the calcaneus. And these ligaments attach, so we have two ligaments that are called talofibular, and it's anterior talofibular going from the talus to the fibula, and then posterior talus to the fibula. And then we have a calcaneofibular ligament that's going from the calcaneus to the fibula. They're all attaching to the fibula, but the anterior and posterior are from the talus. And then this middle one here is just going straight down. It's bypassing the talus because it's deep inside, and it's just where that fibula is almost articulating with the calcaneus. Now, you can almost think of the anterior talofibular and the posterior talofibular almost like ACL and PCL. Really terrible comparison, but the reason why I say that is because it's resisting this anterior translation of the talus in the foot moving forward on the tibia. So it's providing that stabilization. On a later video, you're going to hear about why that is the most commonly torn ligament that we have. And when we say of an ankle sprain, 9 times out of 10, we're referring to a ligament, the anterior talofibular ligament sprain. So these are the three lateral ankle sprain ligaments. Please pay attention that this is talofibular because the high ankle sprain ligaments sound a lot like it with tibiofibular. And if you abbreviate it as ATFL, anterior talofibular ligament, that's referring to the anterior talofibular. Now up here, we have an anterior tibiofibular and posterior tibiofibular. This is not stabilizing the ankle itself down here. It's stabilizing the fibula to the tibia, which does provide a lot of stability to beneath that, to the ankle, and also to the lower leg in general. So they are also reinforced by a syndesmosis that rides up the middle between the fibula and the tibia, which is like a membrane. But there are two ligaments, and we call these anterior tibiofibular ligament, and I will always abbreviate it as anterior inferior because you also have a set of these up top by the knee. So anterior inferior tibiofibular. So please pay attention to those ligaments. Those are the important ones to remember. As you move down the foot, we're not going to have any special names for these, but just know that these are the tarsal bones, these are the metatarsal, and these are the phalanges. So anytime a bone meets, you're going to have ligaments there. So for example, the MTP is an important joint. You're going to have ligaments there. We will refer to like a Liz Frank area, but for the most part, just know that there are ligaments connecting all the bones, the tarsals to the tarsals to the metatarsals, and then the metatarsals to the phalanges, and the IP and the PIP joints here. In here, this is the midfoot. This is an important area. We often get sprains here. So these ligaments are important, but we never refer to them as a very specific ligament. We'll just say the midfoot ligaments or a midfoot sprain or something like that. The last thing I want to focus on are the muscles. And so when we think about the foot, we think about dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, inversion, eversion. So all the muscles that are going to dorsiflex that foot are going to be on the front. So that's going to be our foot extensors. Also our tibialis anterior in the front. So all these muscles are going to run on the front, and just know that the front muscles are going to dorsiflex. The posterior muscles, our gastroc, our soleus, our calf muscles, going down into our foot flexors, are going to run down the back and under the foot, and they are going to plantar flex the foot. And then we have a medial muscle here. The one that I want you to focus on for this class is the tibialis posterior. It's going to run on the inside, and it is going to invert along with plantar flex. And then we also have it on the outside, the peroneals. You have one that goes here, one that goes underneath, and these are the peroneal brevis and longus. They are going to work together to plantar flex, but mainly evert. So we have our anterior extensors going to dorsiflex, our posterior flexors, plantar flex, our medial muscles invert, our posterior muscles evert. If you have any questions about this, please